Hello everyone, thank you for joining us today. I'm pleased to welcome Alex-san, CEO of iGrafx, and also Sho-san, CTO of the iGrafx here in Japan. And so today we will be discussing our joint initiative in the field of APO, Adaptive Process Orchestration. Why this matter now, and how our collaboration will create new value for enterprise globally. Hi, Alex-san.
Hi, Naka.
Hi.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, and so let me start with a fundamental question. Why is APO becoming so important now? What are the key challenges enterprises are facing globally?
Well, thank you, Naka, for this great question. I think the timing really comes down to three main converging forces. The first one, business processes have become dramatically more complex. If you think about global supply chain, hybrid workforces, and the compliance pressure, enterprise are operating systems they can no longer fully see or understand. Second, AI has finally reached a point, I believe, where it can actually reason about processes, not just automate tasks. And third, well, the cost of inefficiency is no longer acceptable. I mean, boards and CEOs are asking, why are we still running on assumption when we have got the data to know exactly what's happening? On our approach, we believe DTO is the answer to that question. That it gives our client a living digital replica on how the organization actually runs.
Thank you for sharing your thought. And so, Sho-san, from the technical perspective, why has a BPO become feasible at this point in time? How do you see the role of AI and data evolution in enabling this?
Yeah, so AI technology has sufficiently advanced so that hybrid processes have now become a reality, right? So a single process may be run by people, by AI agents, and automation all at the same time. So this requires us to make sure that you still have that end-to-end process perspective, because you really don't know what the AI agents are doing, right? You may have maybe 10 or 15 or even 50 agents on a single process. So how do you bring that together? And how do you deliver outcomes that you can measure, right? So I think that the important aspect is, do you know what the agents are doing? Do you know that they're complying? And do you know that they're actually making things better, not worse, right? So adaptive process orchestration is not simply about analysis, it's also about delivering outcomes. So the combination of agentic AI and execution, as well as the analysis, gets you to a game-changing set of outcomes, right? And that's why we think timing is now.
Okay, we can make sense totally. And so, next question, Alex-san. How do you position this partnership with NTT Data intra-mart with iGrafx global strategy?
Yeah, no, thank you, Naka. Well, for iGrafx, I mean, this partnership has reached a strategic pivot point. We've spent decades building deep process intelligence capabilities, process mining, process modeling, simulation, but we have always recognized that insight without the execution is incomplete. It's very clear for us that NTT Data intra-mart brings exactly that, a world-class execution platform with deep roots in enterprise workflow, and also a strong foothold in Asia as well as globally. So together we really close this loop. It is not just a regional partnership. For us, it's a proof point that the full cycle of the DTO model that we want to bring to enterprise globally.
Okay, it's an honor for us to hear how our relationship is important. Also, Sho-san, This is clearly beyond the simple product or integrations. And from a CTO's perspective, what's the essence of this joint development?
Yeah. So for me, right, you're right, this is not simply about integrating two solutions together. For me, this is about bringing game-changing technology that does not exist today. So our collaboration and work that we have done over the last almost 3 quarters have resulted in something very unique, right? So what we are able to do now is we're not only able to understand your business processes, but we are able to run them through AI or humans or in any kind of complex workflows. And then when we monitor them, we are able to change it, right? So the idea is that it's a self-optimizing loop where information collected from execution is then used to run simulations and then used to improve the process. So we are making this reality of adaptive process orchestration come to the market. And it's not simple as just saying I'm running an AI agent, everybody can do that, right? But how do you have long-running workflows, right? How do you have business rules? How do you have decision engines? So we believe that the Excel platform's inherent capabilities in those areas are really critical to manage agents and orchestrate them, right? So I'm really excited about this. You know, we're getting a product hopefully ready to deploy here soon, and so I'm really excited.
Oh, very interesting and excited as well. Thank you.
You can hear that. You can hear your excitement.
And okay, so next question is solution and technology side. So Shok-san again. So in this APO edition, we are enabling a full cycle of visualization, optimization, execution, monitoring, and continuous development, as you mentioned. So what would you say is the key technical breakthrough that makes this possible?
Yeah, so the breakthrough here again is a lot of people when they implement AI, right? It's not about simply adding AI to an existing process, right? And that is the breakthrough. The breakthrough is that you got to understand the existing process and then reimagine it. So don't just say I have a process, I'm going to do the same thing, but maybe I'll have a few agents doing what people do. So the breakthrough here is to truly understand the process and then reimagine how it's going to be in a hybrid world, and then to monitor that hybrid world so that you can actually deliver what you promised, and you can then take input into account and make predictions, right? So the idea here is, you know, we are actually taking information and we are making suggestions from AI on what could be improved. Then we are taking that suggestion and validating it, right? We're making sure that you can simulate, because the AI could hallucinate, right? The AI could tell you something that's not true. So we can look at what it says and then we can say, okay, fine, let me verify it. So we run the simulation, see that the AI is right, and when we see it's right, we can go tell the agent, okay, change this way, right? And then we see whether it worked or not, right? And then that loop keeps continuing, and I think that is where the future is. So that's the technical breakthrough.
Okay, the cycle is very important.
Very important.
Okay. And so, Alex-san, so many companies today are using a process mining or automation tools separately. And what is fundamentally different about this solution compared to those approaches?
I mean, we just heard from Shoaib how, you know, this life cycle, this comprehensive life cycle is key. I think, you know, many companies have great tools, but they do one thing, as you just mentioned. They mine a process, or eventually they do some simulation, or they automate some task. But these tools, they don't talk to each other. So you can get inside in one place, execution another one, but there is no feedback loop, connecting them. So we have built something very, very different. It's a single continuous cycle where discovery feed design, and design feed, you know, execution, and finally execution feed back into discovery, all powered by AI. That feedback loop is a breakthrough. It's the difference between a snapshot and a living system.
Okay, I can understand. So true relationship and tight relationship with us is become very important to realize in AI age. Thank you. And so Shok-san, so let's talk about AI. In this solution, AI seems to go beyond analytics. How deeply is AI embedded into the process lifecycle?
So it is embedded throughout every aspect of understanding reimagining and executing the process, right? So it's integrated together in all aspects that matter. So the first part, right, is that AI helps you really understand your processes. What are you doing? And then you tell it what metrics you care about, right? So there are only 4 or 5 big business metrics, right? Like a cost for processing a loan, or how many loans can you process capacity, right? How's your end user experience? How long does it take you to do it? And then how many loans you reject or don't reject, right? Basically, we can boil things down to a few metrics. Now, where it gets complicated and where AI can come in is to say, okay, how do I consistently improve those 4 business metrics? I don't really care what you do in the bottom, but I want these 4 metrics to improve. So what AI can do is to say, okay, I want to constantly improve these metrics. So I'm going to watch what is happening in the process. I'm going to collect all the data. And then I'm going to, in the background, potentially run thousands of simulations to say, okay, if I did this, how will it improve this metric or that metric? And then recommend to you the 2 best ones or the 3 best ones to say, do this, right? And then once you do it, you can verify that it actually worked. So getting execution almost into the fabric of everything that you do really helps to actually deliver that outcome. I think that's where AI comes in.
I see. Oh, I can imagine this. How deeply AI is embedded into our solutions. Thank you. Okay, so next, Alexander. Also, APO is becoming a recognized concept globally, I think. And so, but implementation are still limited. So how would you position our joint solution in global market?
Yeah, I mean, look, honestly, I think there is little comparable to what we have built, we have seen many vendors, they do, as I mentioned earlier, some pieces or they cover some aspect of it, such as process mining or RPA vendors or the BPM vendors, but no one has stitched them into a true end-to-end intelligent operation platform at this level. We're not positioning this as a better process tool. We are really positioning it as a new category. We speak about autonomous operations. The market is just starting to form around this concept, and we intend, with your help and the analyst, to define it. Being first to market with a credible, enterprise-grade full-cycle solution, I think is a significant, competitive advantage we are offering to the market.
I see. In the APO market, we can get a great position or collaboration with such thing. Thank you. And next, I'd like to ask a boss. We often describe this initiative as the integration of AI plus process plus data. How do you interpret this concept, and why is it critical?
Sure.
Oh.
Sure.
Yeah. So I think, we look at capabilities such as AI and process and data, that's important, right? But we look more in the outcomes, right? So as we evolve how work gets done, it's going to change significantly, right? And so this is the opportunity, and this is also the challenge, right? Because if you have autonomous operations, how do you manage them, right? How do you know that it's right or not right? And I think AI can help there, because you need that supervisory layer that looks at all 3, that looks at the data, that looks at AI, and it does some independent levels of analysis, not just a single agent, but what happens on top of all the agents, right? And I think that layer is missing, right? So I think process intelligence is that control layer on top of agentic AI, and being able to orchestrate those agents and improve them. I think that is where the data and the process and the AI all come together, right? I think that's where the opportunity is.
No, thank you. Exactly.
No, I mean, what Troy mentioned, with keeping the human in the loop really resonate. I mean, look, you mentioned AI, process, and data. At the end of the day, I think these 3 elements are completely independent, but if you remove any of them from this equation, it breaks down. Data without process context is just noise, right? You don't know what it means. And process without data is just theoretical. So you're just guessing, you're not really knowing. I think AI without both, right? Without the process, without AI, data is just automation in the dark. So I think what makes it very powerful is a combination of these 3 dimensions, as Troy mentioned.
Okay, thank you. And so, yes, I'd like to ask us for future vision, Alexa. So, how do you see this solution being deployed globally going forward?
Yeah, I mean, we see it, in several waves. The first one, very short term, we are going to focus on Japan or Asia. I mean, iGrafx has got over 1,000 clients, intra-mart, I mean, thousands and thousands, clients. So it's quite, makes sense to approach first our local, clients and partners. At the same time, I think the second wave, as we are doing already together with our team, exploring some specific use case, specific industry and geography such as America and the banking industry, so we can demonstrate even quicker more value to customers. On that, is really that we will use the customer successes and the case studies from the region as a proof point, to accelerate expansion. Then after into more global North America and Europe, really markets where process excellence is already in the boardroom as a top priority, so it will resonate very well in terms of maturity. And then, long term, as a platform mature and the AI capabilities deepen, also as our customer maturity, grows, we will see a path to truly be more industry specific, as I said, such as finance or others.
Thank you. So I'm excited to see the next step of us. Yes. And so next question, Shobu-san. Also, from a technology roadmap perspective, also how do you expect this platform to evolve, especially with AI?
Yeah. So I think there are certain market trends that people talk about, right? And one that has become really significant in the last few weeks, months is this whole idea of SaaS, right? SaaS applications being replaced by AI-led processes.
Yes.
So I think we are squarely in the middle of that evolution, right? Because the large applications, the one-size-fits-all, they have terrible end-user experience, right? They're not good to work with, they don't do what you want. So I think if we can take processes individually and make them do exactly what a company wants through AI and through understanding, I think that's a big shift, right? And my excitement is that all of us are sitting in the middle of that shift, and we have solutions that allow for that shift to occur, right? So that's where I think the technology is going and where the roadmap is going for us. Yeah.
Okay, so I can imagine so this relationship can produce a great result. Okay. Also, final question I'd like to ask boss. So, finally, so last, what message would you like to share with our customer, partner, and shareholders from Shobu-san?
So, again, my message is really simple, right? You are either going to disrupt or be disrupted, right? Because things are changing so fast.
Yes, exactly.
So I would encourage people to try to disrupt themselves rather than having somebody else disrupt you, right? So if you're not looking at reimagining your operations or reimagining your processes, do it now, because you don't want to wait for somebody else to come in and do that for you, right? So my advice would be to look at how you would change yourself and also take action, right? Because I believe that imperfect action is better than perfect inaction, right? So start implementing something now and evolve as you go, right? That would be my recommendation.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, I'm completely aligned with Shoaib. I mean, I will say this, look, the way enterprises operate today is about we heard, Shoaib, to fundamentally change. Organizations that are going to win the next decades won't be the one with the best strategy on paper, as you said, Shoaib, but the one we are going to execute and adapt faster than anyone else. And that's why I think the platform we are developing will enable our customers. So for our customers, our partners, our new or joint platform is an invitation, right, to start this journey today. It's a great opportunity to be part of something, much bigger, and to define a new category, leader. And finally, for investors, I think we believe we are at the very beginning, as you said, of a massive market shift, and we are well positioned to lead this market.
Okay, I'm super excited.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, thank you very much, Alex and Shou-san. And so through this collaboration, we believe we are building a new foundation where business processes can continuously evolve in an autonomous way. This is just the beginning, and we are very excited about what lies ahead. Thank you for watching, and thank you, Alex-san.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.